Good morning and welcome to Meditation 13, the invitation. If you've accepted Jesus' invitation to follow him, you've embraced a risky, strange and beautiful life, enriched by its depth of relationships and encounters with God and with others. But it's not all plain sailing. It's a life of sorrow, joy, pain, beauty, hope, truth, visions, feelings, friends, rejection and fear. But it's also filled with a sense of permission to be human, permission to encounter the living God in the everyday, a God who is present in the here and now, more present than you might ever dare to imagine. It doesn't matter what stage of life you're in. You have an invitation to discover the God who is already with you. In finding this present God and accepting his invitation, you will lose your life. You need not be afraid. This losing is the best way, the only way to find your truest self. It's in this space you can be comfortable in your own skin, in any season of your life, knowing the words Jesus spoke over 2,000 years ago might apply to your frantic and anxiety-ridden pace of keeping up in this world. Jesus says in Matthew 10:39, "Whoever finds his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake will find it." Even the sparrow is fed, cared for, held, and provided for by a loving Father. Once you accept that, you can let go and let God take over. Ephesians 2:10 says, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Jesus Christ to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." The Greek word for workmanship is poema. We are God's poem, his work of art, his masterpiece. God has prepared good works for us to do. This is our vocation. The word vocation comes from the Latin word vocare, which means to call. Our invitation is God's call to us to live out our uniqueness in his plans and purposes, not only for our own lives, but for his overarching plans and purposes for all of creation. The invitation sounds so simple and easy to respond to, but sometimes we feel our desire to be that work of art and our own sense of inadequacy fighting within us, like Jacob and Esau fighting in the womb. Which one comes out first? With all this inner turmoil, we turn to God and ask, "What now?" And then we listen hard. And that's what we have been teaching and practicing. Listening to hear God's voice among the clamor of the other voices vying for our attention. What is he inviting you into? Is it an invitation to shed all your cares and responsibilities and party like a little child, having fun, being creative, letting your hair down, feasting and feeling free? Sometimes we miss this invitation to be a child of God instead of a stressed, careworn adult. Maybe it's a wedding invitation. A wedding is when two people who are deeply in love pledge their lives to one another until death us do part. This is a deep personal commitment, and the Bible speaks much about us being the bride of Christ. Are you ready to commit to this deep and lasting relationship, which will mean sacrifices on your part, but in the knowledge that you will always be protected and surrounded by his love? One thing about a wedding invitation, it requires an RSVP. What is your answer? Will you accept his invitation? Then there's the invitation we don't look forward to receiving, the invitation to a funeral. But is death the end of life? Certainly not. We believe in the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus and his promise of everlasting life to those who believe. But he also invites us in this life to die to self, pick up our crosses, and follow him. What is he calling you to lay down that is not his plan or purpose for you? What path are you following? Is it the one he is leading you down, or the one you are forging ahead on without him? He has so many invitations for us. Invitations to rest, invitations to serve, invitations to work in a certain situation. And most of all, it's the invitation to become the masterpiece he's created you to be. Can you spend the rest of this meditation waiting on the Lord and asking him what invitation he is extending to you right now? Is it time to spend with him, to engage in a specific Bible study, to invite a neighbor for tea in the garden, to engage in a spiritual practice, or break a bad habit? Could he be inviting you to be kind to yourself and enjoy a time of rest by doing something creative, going for a beautiful and contemplative walk, or cuddling up with a good book? Is there some service he wants you to perform for someone, or an exercise plan you need to commit to? What is his invitation to you right now? When he shows you his invitation, can you draw an invitation card from him to you, inviting you into the sacred space he has prepared for you? And then compose your RSVP, accepting the invitation and committing to your response. Enjoy this time, don't rush off, and keep his invitation and your response where you can see them, as a reminder of this time with him. Time now to listen to his invitation and get creative.